let's go speak your mind, embassy culture. The best place to be. If you are not tuned in yet, please subscribe. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on TikTok. And right now we are coming to your phone live. We have Aimey Jacobs in the house. Hi Aimey.
Hi, how are you doing?
We be live. We absolutely live. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great stuff, great stuff. Aimey, just on the subject that that is a very pertinent subject, a very subject that is running, I think, primarily in the minds of young people specifically. The question of what does Jesus mean to you? What does Jesus mean to you? I think that question is quite heavy, it's quite weighted because it's obviously subjected to a lot of things. But we're getting to that. But before you answer that, if I say Jesus to you, what goes through your mind?
Well, from the past, I would say he was just this guy that you have to please to get to heaven. But if I have to look at it now, it's like life itself.
Okay.
Still, like life itself. And I would say I was very ignorant when I was younger. I thought that you just had to be a good person to get into heaven. But when you discover him for yourself, it's like, I have it all backwards. That's not what it is. It's so much more deeper than you can even think. And I think that's the biggest problem I would say in the world today. We all have this idea of what he is, but we don't actually know who he is. And yeah, it's crazy once you get to know him.
If you say discovering him, so what is that about? Discovering him. So it doesn't need to be discovered. Is it something that you find? Is it a journey or what is it?
Honestly, I don't know for other people, but for myself, I was just in a place, a very dark, nihilistic place in my life where I just gave up and I said like, okay, my father prayed for me and I was just like, I give up on this whole doing it by myself thing. I'm just gonna surrender and give myself over to him because I just feel like I couldn't do it anymore. And then I just felt this washing presence fell over me, and that was like the first time I was like, okay, he could be real. But then after that, it was a constant pursuing. It was a constant pursuing that really pushed me to the point where I was like, yeah, he's definitely real.
Okay. Okay, too real to you.
He's real.
So was it a feeling? Is it an emotion? Is it something that came over you? Is it a?
It was first obviously first an emotional experience, but then you have to move past that. It's just like, this isn't a normal feeling you would encounter every day. So then I had to be like, okay, I had this experience. It's nothing I had before. Let me go into that. And I had a friend at the time, Michaela, she was in Mitchell's playing, and honestly she was God sent in my life. She really pushed me, she really showed the character of Christ through her life, and I desired to be like that because I always wondered like, how do some people just have this relationship with him? Because I just feel like he's just not as real to me as they are to them. And then obviously, like I said, I was in a dark place, I surrendered myself. She was the first person I said to like, yeah, I've come to Christ, I can't do this by myself anymore. And then I just decided to continue to pursue him by reading his word, just take him more seriously, because like it really comes down to faith, Apostle, to actually believe. Once you start believing, even like a smidgen of faith, like a mustard seed of faith, that's where the pursuing starts. And that is when you realize, okay, he is very real, that even our human minds can't even handle.
Aimey, now you've jumped from the word Jesus and then the next word that you used was Christ. I'm a bit confused. Is that his surname?
No, that is just who he is. He means anointed one, Apostle.
Okay. Christ. So Christ is Jesus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How does somebody that is listening to us now, how do they come to that realization that Jesus is Christ and Christ is Jesus? Isn't Jesus Mary's son?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people think. He's just Mary's son, but even Jesus said to Mary, I'm not here for you, I'm here to do my Father's business. It's not about you, it's about me and what I'm going to do for you. Do you understand? So for me, I feel like people always have this perception that you constantly have to, I can't even describe it, but they just think you have to work your way to him, but really he comes to you when you just allow him to be honest, Apostle. Because let's be honest, there are people who constantly preach the word to other people, who truly know God, and then there's just some people who just don't listen and they just don't care. But you as a person just need to be in a place of, I want to believe.
Okay.
And that's where it starts.
Okay, so it's a believing matter.
It's a believing matter.
It's a process.
It's a whole process. Like if I had to take my whole life and it led me up to this point, I would say, obviously there were things, like from a fleshly perspective, there are things you would change, like you wish you weren't so depressed, you wish you weren't so like this and this and that.
Okay.
But in a weird way, if it wasn't for all those hardships, making me see for what the world really is, I wouldn't have found him.
Okay, now
That's not one thing.
Yeah, I mean that's something else, because are you saying only people that's going through crises
No.
will find Jesus?
No,
Is
it's a
that-
matter of belief, but that's the thing. It's just like you have to like look at it, the timeline of what got you to that point. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this giant crisis, because some people literally just grew up in the church and just believe. But it really comes down to you as a person. You are the person who chooses to believe.
So we have a lot of educated people out there.
Yeah.
We have learned people, we have people with high degrees, people with doctorates, like myself, and we have people that, deeply theologically inclined, and these people are saying, I need a psychologist for what you're explaining. I mean, how do we respond to that in terms of that Jesus is not really an option? I mean, I can go to a psychologist, I can see a doctor, I can find a therapist, I can find a counselor, and then just speak more.
Yeah, but that's unfortunately, Apostle, human nature in itself. We are constantly trying to fix something, Apostle. We are constantly looking for something to fix. Why do you think we invent the whole time? Because we constantly want to fix something that wasn't even a problem in the first place. Like, how can I say, I'm studying psychology, so what you say is quite triggering, but not triggering at all, because I know what the truth is. But honestly, I will say this. People who study sciences, they want to find out something. But the problem is they remove God out of the equation. Even in my field now, we do have the spiritual dimension, but even then I found out today that more people, when they look at the spiritual dimension, they consider more of the Buddhist faith than the Christian faith itself, which is weird, but that's a topic for another day.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a topic for another day, but I will say this, as people, we are constantly trying to look for something.
Okay.
We are constantly trying to fix something, because we know this is just not the end state. We are constantly looking, it's a constant searching. That is why people get so frustrated. Why you see sometimes millionaires, when they have all this money, all this power, then they just go somewhere down to Africa or Ghana and just give children and help them, because they need something to feed their soul, because they're constantly wanting to fix something. And all a psychologist can really do is just show you A, B, and C, and D. And all we can do is give recommendations.
Okay.
You are the person who has to do the real work. It's the same thing with science. People have this habit of taking studies, Apostle, and then they're trying to say, well, based on this study, this is why the thing is the way it is. But that's just one study. The problem is with all science, we can never take all factors into account, because we ourselves, fleshly, are not releasing it. So science, in a sense, is just an estimation. But do we really want to live our life by estimations?
No.
Or do we want to live our life by truth?
Absolutely. Thank you for being in the studio, Aimey. It was nice. Live here, Embassy Culture, tuning off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of our program. Next time, same place. Find the cave. Find your place. Embassy Culture.